ain't gonna expose. I'm not like that. I'm not a snitch. Virginity. It's a hush-hush topic. Yeah.
They love me.
Let's see if your parents raised you.
It's deeper than the physical.
What up, fam? Welcome back to the juxtaposition, everyone. Welcome back to the juxtaposition. I am Nana. We got lovely guests again, but before I introduce my lovely guests, we got, wait, let me give you the mic.
Janet and Bernice.
So today we got a lovely couple. You know, the last 2 episodes was on singleness, but you know, it's time to bring in a couple, you know, because it makes sense.
Of course.
You know, we got to give you the perspective of a couple, but not just a couple, a young married couple. So today we got Jaelon and Abby. I was allowed to say Abby, right?
Yes.
You know, some people are like, don't call me by my short name. You ain't know me like that.
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got Jaelon and Abby. Bernice, hit me.
How's it going, guys? How you doing?
We're good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I love how they just look at each other, just like connection.
I want to know if she wants to go, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your day? What did you guys do? That was.
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. It was good. To be honest, wake up, go to work. Okay, my day, to be honest, like every day feels like the same day.
Oh, it's a routine. There's nothing
So
that changes.
there's nothing I can
different.
tell you that's like, wow, fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I mean, that happens me too. Same routine every time. Is just wake up. Was there like a highlight? Like, what was your highlight today?
Probably my lunch break.
Honestly, I don't know if you're going to get a highlight because it's like I ask him the same question.
Wow.
And he's always just like, yeah, same thing.
Nothing changes.
Which is so sad because it's like, it just shows that you definitely want a change and a shift, you know?
Yeah.
And you want more.
Yeah. It's not that like it's boring. It's just, I know what season I'm in.
Right.
So I have to wait until that door opens. I just gotta
Just keep
continue.
pushing.
Yeah.
Boots to the ground.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just to get us warmed up a little bit, have you guys watched the movie Creed?
You didn't ask her how her day.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I just went to work.
Yeah.
Went to work and picked up the kids, then got Jaelon, and we came down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very easy. Was
Very
it
easy. Yeah, very easy going. Love my workplace. I actually love where I work. So
nice.
I have really good days.
That's a good thing to love where you work, because if you don't, it's definitely hard
Yeah.
to go to the workplace.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's a good thing. Well, as I was saying, have you guys watched the movie Creed yet?
No, I haven't.
Not yet.
Do you guys plan on watching the movie?
I didn't
I
know it
honestly
came
didn't
out.
even know it was out, to be honest.
No way!
Nobody be watching movies that fast, to be honest.
No,
Like, you know how many movies
I've
know,
been hearing
like-
about Creed since like, I don't know.
It's not
top
like
of the
Wakanda,
year.
like, you know how people be like, yo,
No,
I gotta
it
watch
is.
this.
It is.
I don't think so.
It's everywhere.
I don't think so.
I think ever since like COVID happened, the movie shut down.
It kind of slowed
movies
down.
just shut out.
Yeah, I know. I think people are so home, like they're home based. So it's like if
Yeah.
it's gonna come out on Disney or like Netflix, I'm just gonna wait for it to come out on there. But Creed, you guys should go watch it because it's actually really good.
It's really good. Is it the best one?
I would say. I would say it is.
Okay.
See, I watched all 3 because Michael B. Jordan is a. Yeah, but other than that, he actually did a great job because he directed the movie.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
overall, it was a fantastic.
This girl out here promoting Michael B.
No,
Jordan's
but I'm just
film.
saying, like,
You ain't heard
wise,
about
it was
Creed.
actually. I'm not a movie person like that, but like overall, it was a pretty good movie and something I'm like. They did a good job. The storyline was great. Jonathan Majors was an amazing actor. So, if you guys have downtime, if you're like, I need something to watch, you should go try that and check out Creed.
Definitely.
It'll be on Netflix in like 3 months. So.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait for 3 months.
Yeah, I can wait.
It could come out quick. Usually, it doesn't take that long for a movie to get into Netflix or like Disney Plus or anything like
Look,
that.
I didn't watch a bootleg, to be honest. I just like
No,
the,
you couldn't
the
do it like
comfort
that. You
of
can't
a,
do
of a
that.
movie theater.
It's an IMAX film that you need to watch in the theaters. But if you don't have that, you can be patient and wait for Netflix.
Okay.
But let's jump into it. As we introduced you guys, we said that you guys are married and you guys are a young married couple. So let's start off. Tell us, how did you guys meet each other?
You can give your version.
Did you that version? So there's different. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
So how do we meet? Okay, so I went to Brock in 2016, and we met through mutual friends, and then I needed a place to live because I was living on campus, and he lived in a house like off campus, so I needed a place to live. And he was just like so adamant on, you can come live in my house. You can come. Like he had a plan from the beginning.
Oh, Jalen's like,
So yeah, he's like, you can live in my house. There was another guy there and another girl there that lived there. So I lived there. We were friends for 2 years. We like did basically everything together. Like went to the gym. We were just always doing everything, grocery shopping. We did a lot of things together, and everyone at our school thought that we were dating, and we would just be like, no, like we're just friends. And I honestly didn't even think of him as anything more than a friend. Then one day, that's how we met. You guys don't want to know.
no,
like,
you can keep going.
Okay,
Keep going.
okay.
There's no supposed to keep
So
going.
then one day I had my birthday party around this time because my birthday's in March. So my best friend at the time, she came down to the house and slept over with a bunch of my other friends, and they were all just watching Jaelon and I, just like wondering, like, there's so much chemistry between you guys. Are you sure there's nothing? Like, they were questioning me. Are you sure there's nothing going on? I'm just like, no, guys. No, definitely not. He's just my friend. And then that was like planting seeds in my mind because I was like, I never thought about it before. What if? Like, we do everything together. He's so funny. He's a great person to be with and spend time with. Like, why not? So then I started playing on like those little seeds and those ideas, and I decided to just give it a go. And that part in itself was hard, but I can get into that later, and you can share your story if you would like.
So basically, everything she said was pretty true. But so when I first met her before she moved to my house, I found this afterwards. So I met her with her friend Emily, and her friend, when you went to her friend's
Wait,
birthday
are
party.
we gonna do name drops?
Okay. And so but it's nothing bad though.
Yeah, I know, but no name.
Okay. So her friend was like, oh yeah, the first time you met, Abby was like, oh, he's so cute and all this stuff like that. But she said she thought nothing of me.
Oh, wow.
And then so at the time she was talking to somebody I knew. So I was trying to get her into my house because I wanted to put on my boy. If that makes sense.
Oh. It's like, no.
Because so then I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And I think too, so my friend, I think it was St. Patrick's Day. He's like, oh, I think this girl likes you, do you like her? And I was like, nah. But after that, I started to think about it. And I just started
So
looking.
both of our friends basically were planting seeds
right.
in our minds that we
Yeah.
didn't even know we didn't tell each other
Yeah,
about
we didn't tell
that.
each other, yeah. And then I just think about it. It was crazy. So like the whole school year went by, and it was just nothing. Like we went to the gym together, go shopping. She was literally like my best friend, like an extension of me. It was cool, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I think in the summer, she randomly messaged me one time and was like, "Oh, you live in Brampton? There's a party. Do you want to come?"
That's her way of saying, hey.
So I thought nothing of it, and then so I just went, and then we just ended up connecting, and then we ended up kissing, and then we started dating.
And then, but that part was weird because it can go two ways. Like it can go.
Yeah.
It was like we were both in this state of, can this ruin a good friendship
Right.
after like connecting, or can this work and be a relationship? So I think we were both very, very nervous about that.
You talk about that because I feel like many people, like, they have best friends or they have that best guy friend. Like, do you feel like people should take the risk and take the chance on that since you did it, or do you think it was too risky and most people shouldn't go in that direction?
I definitely think that you should go. I know it's not good to always go based off how you feel, but also look at like the whole context of everything. We were already doing everything together. I knew him as a friend and I liked him as a friend. And so I feel like if you can like someone as a friend, why not take that chance? Like, why? I'm a risk taker as well. So I'm all about wanting purpose, like wanting what God's called me to do here and fulfill that. So I'm all about following that and not my will, but your will. So the worst thing that can happen is the friendship's you're not going to be friends, but if it was meant to be, you would be. So why not take the risk? That's just what I would think. So I definitely say go for it. Go for it if you feel it, and look at the entirety of everything, the relationship. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, same thing. If it's God's will, then there's no fear, like you could say, like losing people. Because even so, most people are for seasons.
Right.
So if it crumbles, then just like let it go. Like you enjoy the time you had. There's no animosity. I don't know if that's the word you say, but it is
And
what
that's
it is.
hard though. Because
It
it's
is.
not, it's so easy to say,
But to do is like.
to do is the hardest thing, because many times it's loyalty. You've known this person for how long? You want to hold on to that friendship. Or maybe it's just the fear of being alone, or not, or maybe the friendship's even just like a benefits thing. Like you don't want to lose those benefits that this person can provide you with. So it's easy to say that, but like it's hard to do. So I get that as well.
But the thing I understand, for me personally though, I don't want to be those people who look back and say, what if? So I'd rather take it. If it fails, it fails.
Yeah.
I know it's not for me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, the what ifs, it actually burdens people a
It
lot.
does.
It's just like, oh, if only. And that's why I feel like sometimes people who get into next relationships, they don't sustain those relationships because they're like, oh, I didn't go with this person, or I didn't try with this person. So it's a what if in their back of their mind, so they can't commit to somebody else because they're still on the what if. So it's like if you're like in that season where it's just like you said, just do it. If it doesn't work, at the end of the day, it's for seasons, right? And you enjoy that moment and you keep it moving. Obviously, God heals and redeems time too. So it's easier said than done, like you said.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, but it's something that you should place on your, and just give it to God and just allow Him to do the work that He's supposed to do in your life, right?
Yes.
What made you guys interested in pursuing something with each other?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, who made the first? Did you?
It was definitely me, because he would have not made any type of move.
I didn't see it like that.
He was just like way too nervous. But
What? I wasn't nervous at all.
you were very nervous to make a move.
It's really not. Look, we were friends for like the whole time. So when she invited me out, I'm thinking we're just hanging out.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, she had a turn the whole time.
Okay, but you low key had some too.
Not really.
Yes, you did.
Not really.
See, that's what they do all the time.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't have anything.
Oh my
But
goodness.
but for you, you're just like, I was not honestly.
I honestly
not.
didn't.
Yeah?
I honestly didn't.
Okay.
So that night was a
All right.
surprise to me.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So we gonna talk about this when you get home. We're gonna figure this out. So what was the
question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what made you guys interested in pursuing each other? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but
In pursuing each other, definitely like those little seeds that our friends were dropping in our minds. And it's so crazy because I told our story to someone and they said it could have went the opposite way. Like imagine your friends planting seeds in you, telling you, yeah, you'd be great for this person, but that person's actually not
Right.
right for you. So as much as we're saying like, yes, those little seeds, you still have to, again, take everything into the full context, because you can take that information and then it's the wrong thing. Not only for relationships, but for really anything. But yeah, so what was the question again? Sorry.
Well, what made you? Well, I said who made the move first, but you
Okay,
said
who pursued?
Yeah.
Okay, so, or what made us pursue each
What
other?
made you guys interested in pursuing?
Or going to the next instead of like
Oh,
the next level. You guys obviously
yes.
did so.
Go ahead.
I don't know, but it's kind of interesting though. So basically, we were actually both talking to different people, and like our situations crumbled at like the exact same time.
Wow.
So it was kind of like, I'm not even gonna like front, but like I'll be in my bed thinking about that person sometimes, and I know she was doing the same thing about her person.
Oh,
So
and our
then-
rooms, when we were roommates, were right beside each other.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool. So I remember thinking, like, you know what? maybe because like I wasn't thinking about God at the time, to be honest, because I wasn't that spiritual. But I was thinking, you know what, maybe this could be something, and I need to let go of this. So that kind of drove me to do it, if that makes sense at the same time.
For me, it just felt right in the moment. Like everything about it felt right. And again, it was scary. There was so much hesitation because I still was kind of focused on the person I was talking to as well. I honestly thought in the beginning that you were just going to be like my rebound. It was so bad.
You set me up.
But then it ended up like God had other plans. And then like when we started, what made us pursue each other even more was us getting confirmations from the Lord, like about our relationship. Everyone, after when we started dating, everyone's like, we already, like, this is not a surprise to us.
I knew it was gonna happen,
And then the biggest one for us was when we thought that we should break up because we just thought, like, there was just so many things going on at the time, and I really feel like it was the enemy just trying to break us up.
We went to a church.
But yeah, we went to a church.
This pastor preached a message about, what did he preach?
I don't remember what
letting go of everything for God, and then she looked at me in the middle of the
I'm not talking about that moment.
Okay.
I'm talking about I'll talk about that moment though after. But I'm talking about the moment for the confirmations of a relationship where we did go to a church. It was a young adult church that we were going to at the time. And then the pastor, he also has a gift of prophecy, so he would prophesy from time to time. He like called up so that night before we went to the church, we were like thinking of breaking up and questioning our relationship. And then we go to the church, and the pastor calls Jaelon and tells him that he says like some other stuff, but the main thing to answer this question of the confirmation was, I saw you guys doing something together in the future. And we're like, okay, God, we'll stick together and ride this wave out. It was tough, but we always wanted, another reason as to why we pursued each other is because we always wanted like the purpose for our life. Like not our will, it's like not our will, but his will. Like that's all we wanted at the same time. And then it goes into that story that you were about to say about how like we wanted God's will so bad for our life that as much as we loved each other, we were willing to break up with each other.
Yeah, at that time there was no we.
It was just me. We went to this church, and then there was like a message, because I feel like we kind of idolized each other too much.
Yeah, we did.
In the beginning, we idolized each other so much to the point where it's like if we were to break up with each other, we would have thought that the world was over. And then we went to that church and we heard that message. I was like, yeah, Lord, like I'm sorry. Like I repented. I was like, I'm sorry for like putting this relationship over you. I don't want anything to be over you. So I'm willing to let this go. And we had that conversation. It was so sad. We went out to breakfast with each other, our last breakfast. He was so sad. We were
just
both
imagine,
so sad.
you picked your girl up, drove her to church,
Wait,
brought her to breakfast,
and
she said it's over.
In his grandfather's car. Because his car was like broken at the time. So he had to borrow his grandfather's car, pick me up because he lived in Brampton all the way in Toronto.
Yes. Brought her to church, then brought her out to eat, paid for the food, and then she dropped the bomb on you.
No, we already knew before. We knew when we were there.
That was bad.
So it was really sad time, but then God saved us again. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to give this up to you, Lord. And it was almost like a test. You know, like God tests us, like with like little things. It almost felt like a test to me. Like, is she gonna give this up? Is she willing to give this up? Or are they willing to give this up? And then we gave it up. And for some reason, Jaelon like never comes into my parents' house, but he came into my parents' house this time. And my dad just starts randomly talking about marriage. And you remember specifically what he was talking about?
specifically.
Okay, but like he was like saying stuff that really resonated with us, and we're like, okay, it's not time for us to break up. Yeah.
I have one quick question, just to go back a little bit.
Yes.
Moving in together, did that speed things up? Did that make things worse? Did that, like, you know, as a man, like, you see this girl, like, in her natural element, you see her every day, like, you know, you may want to slip up. Like, how was that experience?
I think it sped things up. To be honest, I don't want to go into too much detail. Like, I'll go into detail, whatever. But I think it sped things up because even if someone she first moved in with friends, I got to see, like, the raw her. So, like, I got to see...
No makeup.
Just, like, I got to see, like, the full hair. At first, I thought she was weird, to be honest.
I am weird, actually. I am very weird. Because you know what it is, too? It's, like, a lot of times, if you're I don't know, like, at our school, it was like, oh, Abby's, like, this, like, light-skinned, beautiful, Blasian girl, and it's like they see the exterior, but they don't know who I really am. So when he got to see who I really was, he was like, "This girl's weird and normal, and not how everyone's like portraying her to be." So like the guys would be like, "What would they say to you?" They'd be like,
I don't know. To be honest, they would just ask if we were doing stuff. Everybody thought like, oh, because like we lived together, or they must be doing stuff that was hooking up. But, like, I got it, like, when I say weird, like, I got to know her as, like, a normal person. She wasn't, like, what everybody portrayed her to be.
Just being herself.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time, too, I actually just connected with a girl on that type of level. Outside of my family.
And I think when we, I definitely, if I were to go back, I would not recommend anyone to live together pre-marriage. Yeah, pre-marriage, because... It definitely sped things up in a negative way, I feel like. Where it caused us to deal with things I feel like were too soon to deal with. Like, that you would normally deal with when you're married. I feel like a lot of times we, like, skip the process. We want to live together and, like, have sex, right? And then go and get married. But I would definitely recommend to do it. Don't do it that way. Do it the other way, as we've experienced it. Like, definitely God's grace was, like, a lot on our relationship. As you guys can see how many times we were going to break up. There was, like, lots of stuff that really the enemy was trying to use to separate us. And it's like each time God kept coming with his confirmations. It just shows it was really his grace.
It's crazy because people honestly, genuinely think that living together would help their relationship. And it's like for a period of time, sure, it can help you in terms of like seeing them in their natural element. But at the end of the day, you're speeding things up and now you're dealing with things that you're not prepared for.
Yes.
So you're opening doors prematurely. And so like at the end of the day, you're kind of hindering yourself and hindering the relationship. Right? And so it's like, it gets blurry, right? And especially when we're humans. We all want to be loved. We all want to be physically touched. And so it's not like you're going to be out here like a robot, right? No, you're going to obviously want to do that. And that's natural in anybody's, not even living together, just if you're just speaking to somebody too over the phone or whatever the case is, like people long to be loved and wanted. And so if you're able to have that 24/7, it's like, why not? You can hold on for a long time, but eventually it's just natural that you're going to fall, right?
Yes.
That's true.
And also with the speeding things up, it's like you want to save all of that for marriage because you're going to be with this person for how long? Like you're already doing all of those things. You're going to kind of just get, I wouldn't say bored out, but it should be exciting, like marriage. It should be a time to get to know each other even deeper on a more intimate level. And I feel like if you start with that already, it's like it makes people not even want to get married.
That's what I was going to say. It's like skipping steps. It's like, oh, I already know, I'm going to know this person to their core. But it's like, why don't you just go through the steps and enjoy the process? But then if you guys start living with each other, you guys probably most likely will put off marriage. Every year, oh, I'm going to get married to her this year. Oh, no, she's already feels like my wife. Like, you know, why do I need a contract to, like, come on, like, you know, it's just, you just will cause yourself more deeper and deeper sin. So, I'm not for it, to be honest.
It's true. The majority of the people we know, like my friends particularly, they already live, so they're comfortable. So it's kind of like, why I need to get married for? Like, they already have a house, kids. They don't see the concept behind it. It's true. There's nothing new to add.
Exactly. Right. I feel like once you, like, tie all those things together, it's like, when you now break up, it's like breaking up a marriage.
Yeah.
Which is like, now you have to you already bought a house together. Like, I've heard of this story in terms of like, I think my sister told me where like the people were together and 10 years, they bought a house, they had a lease, they signed things together.
Wow.
And then they broke up at the end of the day. Like, how much more is that like tearing apart? Like, I feel like if you were in a marriage, at least you know that there was a commitment and that I want to work this out, because separating it is like a lot harder, of course. But like now, like, especially not being legally binded, it just makes it like more worse. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think people are afraid to commit. That's why they don't get married.
Definitely.
Because it's so easy just you can send a text and just say I'm out. You can literally just split. But like when you're married to somebody, you can't just get out of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a fair commitment.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
For sure. I had something, because you spoke on like how you said your spiritual life wasn't the greatest in terms of when you guys were. So how did, like, speak on that a little bit, and how you've grown into who you are now, and just your journey with God, and how your relationship it probably did help you guys in terms of your journey, right? And so you can probably just speak on that a little bit.
I'll go first.
You can.
So to be honest, I grew up in Catholic church. Catholic church is, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Been there. The pausing of is just I get it. Yeah.
But it didn't like nourish me spiritually. And then so I started reading the Bible myself. We did my own research, and I'm like, this isn't the stuff that like. That's the only church I knew, right? So like, this isn't what I was being taught. And like, I even found out that, you know, like that picture of Jesus, it was like a Catholic version. Yeah, basically the king wanted his son to, so he painted the son. And so like, I just I fell away from the faith, because like I believed in God, but I was like, this can't be it. There has to be something deeper. So I just kind of stopped believing it. And even when she was talking about God, I always have like, I don't know if it was like a mini debate, but I say, oh, you know, this isn't true and this isn't true. Or not. So like, I kind of didn't have a relationship with God. So like, I was clubbing, like having sex, doing all these things. Because even so, like whenever I would go to the church, I'd ask, oh, why sex before? No one could tell me why sex before marriage was bad. Right. So I thought you guys are just trying to feed me a bunch of rules that like kind of control my life, if that makes sense. And then so it was actually when she came into my life, I think she had a mentor. Her mentor, and then basically I ended up going to church with her. To be honest, I wasn't going for God, I was going for her.
Listen, God will use people to draw you in. He will use people to draw you in. Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it's kind of like as I heard, I guess you could say like a different type of teaching, a different side of it. I kind of started getting back into it more. And then I think went to other churches, and like, I didn't even know like people could like prophecy. Someone can tell you about you, they know nothing about you. I was like, okay, like, and even so, when she said that story, the night before I actually prayed and I said, God, I need a sign. And we went to church the next day and he called me out and he said how like he was gonna speak to somebody else, but God told him, no, you have to do him. Oh wow. So I was like, it showed me that God is real. And that kind of helped springboard my faith back in.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was exciting.
It was.
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like I always had an idea of who God was or is, but I wasn't truly ever walking. I thought I was walking, you know, like, I don't know if you guys ever felt this way, but it's like when the enemy can sometimes make you believe that you're truly walking with God, but really you're not walking.
Opposite path.
You're not walking with God at all, and can really deceive you. Like, so I feel like that's how I thought I was. I thought I was a Christian. I thought I was walking with God, but my actions and the life I was living was definitely not walking with God. Like, you wouldn't think that I was Christian. And then when I got to university, that's when I started to I just was also same thing, like partying, like living that life. And then I just had this moment. It was like after my first year of university, I was like, okay, this is not what I'm here for. I have to be here for more than just this. It's impossible. And I made this video with my roommate at the time, Michelle. My roommate with my roommate at the time, and I actually I didn't even know I was declaring, but I was declaring over my life. Like I said in the video, my second year of Brock, like I'm not gonna be at any parties. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be drinking anywhere. Nobody's gonna see me. Right. I'm going to be doing something different. And second year comes, and it's like that summer before second year came, I met like these pastors that did a church at the school, and they just talked to me, and I just felt their love, like God's love through them. And they weren't even talking to me about God, but it's like I was feeling God through them, and I was like, I want what they have. I don't know what it is, but I just want what they have. And so from there, I just started my walk with God through that church at Brock. And then met Jaelon, and we kind of went on this journey together of getting back into alignment with God. But it really started from me questioning and asking God that there has to be more. I just felt like I'm not here for this. Right. There has to be something. And so now I'm just on a journey of finding my purpose and living that out and fulfilling it. And anything that does not align with it, I don't want. I say no, I cut off, and I don't feel bad about it. Because I want that. I want what God has for me more than anything. Because if you think about it, sorry, I'm diving off now.
It's okay.
Everything else outside of your purpose is a distraction. Yeah. Everything. Whether that's TV, whether that's going to that basketball game, whether that's hanging out with your friends, whatever it may be, if it's not in alignment with what God has called you here to do, it's a distraction.
Right.
So you guys talk about your singleness and what you guys been through. Can we talk about the process of you guys getting to the stage of like, okay, I want to marry this person? Was there people in the way trying to block it? Was there people saying you guys are too young? This, that. How was that process?
You can.
It was actually kind of cool. Hold on. To be honest, but okay.
That's a wife right there. So drink the water. Drink the water.
Oh gosh.
It was kind of cool. I think, like, I knew I wanted to marry her, and like, she knew, like, she wanted to marry me too, and it was actually kind of cool. So we actually, when did I propose? Like 2019.
Can't remember now.
I think 2018, the summer of 2018. Yeah. And then it was actually kind of cool. So basically, I think someone taught us how to hear God's voice. And then I think she asked God for a word. And I think she got like, I can't remember, she got rocks and like a seagull or something like that. And then I think basically I got this picture of this place. And it was, I don't know, short story. And then basically I was thinking about proposing, and I had an idea where I wanted to propose. And her picture, she didn't know what it meant. It was confirmation of what I was thinking, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of like further confirmation. Cool. And then so we got engaged at, I don't know what day it was. And then it was kind of cool the way God made it happen. So she ended up working at this place, and these people came prophesied over her. And then so we decided to check out the church. And then we went to the church, and then randomly ran into the pastor. He's like, we have young adults group, you should come. So we went there, and then we met these people there, and they're like, oh, this is actually a school, right? And then it was called like the School of Ministry. It deals with your heart and heals your heart. Wow. So that actually helped us deal with our singleness, learning to become like whole people without kind of trying to fight each other for each other. Yeah. And then so we ended up going to the school, and in the school we met these pastors. And I don't know, I think we just got in a fight. and then
because, being in that school, though, is like you're dealing with trauma. You're dealing with pain. And apparently in that school, like a lot of couples break up because you're dealing with some hard stuff that you have to face. You're forced to face and deal with God. So it was very emotional. And so, you know, going through that emotional, like dealing with our own traumas, being forced to face things that have happened in our lives, there's definitely going to be some tension, you know, between us. So yeah, we had definitely a lot of arguments there.
But like, it was cool. So they kind of like counseled us, if that made sense, and like that helped me understand her better and understand myself as well, and like vice versa. And I think like near the end of the school, it just happened so they were able to marry us as well. Wow. So so it's like God literally handcrafted that himself, like literally led us into marriage.
Yeah. That is so cool. And definitely the school helped prepare us to even like know, okay, yes, we want to get married. We're ready to get married by going through that process and healing our hearts and dealing with the hard stuff.
Did you feel like you guys were too young at the time to get married? And like, do you think like age played a factor in like you guys getting married?
No, not really. I feel like once you know, you know. Like most people only delay because they're afraid it's gonna take away from them. If that makes sense. Like most people I speak to is like, oh, I want to get my career or my money first. Yeah. But it's kind of like, I know I wanted her. She's not gonna stop me from doing what I need to do. Right. I'm just taking somebody on my journey with me, and I'm doing her journey together. And like we're like it's like a collaboration.
You said
hold up. Yeah. See, a lot of men need to hear that.
Not even men.
And women too. We just put on a clip on that.
They really think somebody's stopping, but it's like, no, it's like I'm carrying
adding
you with
on.
the wind. It's like you come together. It's like you're blowing together. Like, that's a good.
Because people are like, oh, I need my house, I need this, I need that. In order to get married, I need to be established. But it's like, you know how many blessings we're probably blocking?
Yeah.
And
Damn.
you start kind of slowing your own self down too, because your partner can help you speed up the process of anything, because they have a different mindset or a different perspective, or they can give you creative insight into whatever you're doing, right? And so it's that's a good.
Yo, I always knew that in my mind, but for you to say that was like, damn.
Yeah.
It's true. Because even if you take it like when Adam and Eve were in the garden, right? It's like God, he took Adam, he put him in. He wasn't like, his calling wasn't like, he wasn't at the end.
Right.
He was in the beginning of like his process.
Right.
He named the animals, and like he was in the beginning, and then God's like, okay, he needs help, someone to do the journey with him.
Right.
It wasn't like I established myself first.
I didn't hear it that way. He out here speaking, he dropping nuggets, golden nuggets. No, that's powerful. No, because it's true, because social media allows you to think that you need to set yourself up. You need to get your money right. You need to make sure you have a career. You make sure you have a home or some type of place that you live on your own. And then you get a partner. And then they'll fit into your story. It's like, no.
But it's even harder to fit into your story.
Right, because you already have it crafted out, right?
Your story. And I feel like that's why people maybe take longer to get married, because they're trying to fit them into their idea of, okay, I already have my house, like, how are you gonna move in? How are you gonna
I have a structure of what I want and how I want to live and where I want to go in the next 5 years. So.
I don't think it's that bad to say, hey, I want to buy a house in three years. What is bad is like, I want to buy a house in 3 years. That 3 years, no one can come and talk to me. You know? You can buy the house in 3 years. Someone comes, okay, come, let's do it together. But it's like some people be like, no. I'm going to figure this out first, and then after, I'm going to come, and then we can figure things out. And it doesn't work like that. That person's going to go to someone else. So.
True.
Or they wait. They be waiting for 3 years, so they'll come back around.
Another thing that I want to add to that question was age can also play a role in getting married or preventing someone from getting married, because when you're young, like, you're still, trying to establish yourself, get your career, whatever the case may be, build up your, finances. This is a big one, right? And so that can also prevent people from wanting to get married, because I can see why they want to get all of those things in order. And we did it the other way around. Right. That was a thought we had. It was, how are we going to pay for this? Remember that we spoke to those two couples there, and then they helped us?
Yeah. They
so
had nothing.
We, that was our same thought process. We were like, where are we going to live? We didn't have jobs. We were coming out of the school. We literally came out of the school with nothing and got married a month after the school, a month after the school was done, right? And so we didn't care about where we're gonna live, what our financials are, what job, this, that. We're just like, we just want to be together and do it together. Right. Yeah. So for the first 2 years, we lived with Jaelon's mom, and that was a sacrifice that we were willing to make because we wanted to be together. It's definitely challenging and hard. Not going to say it's easy, and it's something that we wanted to do, but being together was overridden, like all of it, every other fear.
Yeah. I feel like it's cool to have somebody to be there with you. So even if you fall, you're not falling by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people really look at it like that. People look at it like, I know I need to go alone, I need to go far and go far. But but it's kind of like you can't be independent.
Right.
You need somebody with you.
Yeah. We were crafted to be in partnership, right, in community. So if you're out here thinking you're supposed to do it on your own, you're actually doing the opposite. Like, right, you're not actually helping yourself. And the reality is, like, we come from a creator that has partners, right? The Holy Spirit, the Son, and the Father. So it's not unusual if you're always seeking. That's why we're always seeking something. We're always seeking a partner. We're always seeking to be in some type of relationship or to be in a partnership or something like that. Because many people, at the end of the day, businesses can talk. It doesn't matter what it is. Somebody had a partner. You started with somebody. No matter how good your company is, whatever it is, you had somebody who was there with you at the beginning, who partnered with you to journey to the end or wherever you are right now. So.
And also, one more thing to add to that is don't be scared to, if you're like in that stage where you're young and you're just trying to build yourself up, but you want to get married and you know that God has, ordained this marriage and this is your person. Know that if God calls you to it, He will take you through it and He will bless you and His grace will be over you. He will provide everything that you need. And so that's what I tell people that want to get married, but they're scared because of, they're not established. If God's called you to do it, He will take you through it. Right. He will provide everything that you need. And so far for us, that's what He said. I mean, when kids come along too, it's like you have to think about the finances too and everything. And it's like, it's God's will. He will provide. And He has every time. Like, I don't know if you guys remember my car testimony on Instagram, if you've heard of it, but like we didn't have our first car like broke down or something or whatever. And we weren't praying for a car because we don't like pray for things like that. We just say, God, like, you know what we need. We trust that you'll provide it. And winter was approaching and someone was like, I want to buy you guys a car.
Wow.
And someone from our church, and they purchased the car for us. And it's like just testimonies like that of God just showing up through our lives and us just trusting Him and continuing to do His will, and He just provides. He's just so faithful.
That is powerful. That is a testimony for sure. And so from there, your faith is just going higher and higher. It's like, I know my God will provide.
Good? Yes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, you talked about having children, and so you guys obviously have two beautiful babies. And so with that, having children, how did that change your relationship and your marriage?
Oh my goodness.
Did you have, like, how many years into your marriage did you decide to have kids, or was it just kind of like, let's just get right into it? The look.
I mean, as soon as I got married, she just wanted it right away.
Okay. Relax.
Hey, sometimes, honestly, listen.
No. Like, to be honest, our first child, our daughter, she was conceived on our wedding night. Because we weren't doing any, we were being, was it celibate? I don't know.
Celibate, yes.
Yeah, so she was.
Before marriage.
And I think, was it like, when did we know we were pregnant?
Around March. Everything just seems to be happening in March.
It is prophetic.
March is the greatest month in the world. I'm telling you.
I agree. Yeah. So, we had our daughter the first year of marriage, and not gonna lie, like that was tough on both of us because we had all these plans. It's like newly married, gonna travel, gonna do this, gonna do that. And at the time of coming out of ministry school, like we were such on a high, like because we seen all these like miracles, where we heard all these amazing words that God's gonna use us for this, and that, and it was like we're back at His mom's house, like we're not doing anything now. We're having a baby. It's like so against everything that we were planning and we're hoping for, and so definitely we had to pray about that because Zoe is like a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that we even thought that way was definitely such a deception. The fact that some people don't want to have kids or don't want to have kids in fear of ruining their plans. But it's not about our plans. It's about His plan, right? His plan is greater than ours. And we've even had friends who we convinced them, which we thank God, because now they have 2 kids, to, you know, don't delay it. Like, if you feel like you want to have kids, if the desire is there, like, go and have it. Don't worry about the finances. Don't worry about the money. And like I mentioned, they have 2 kids now, and they're like the best things ever for them. So yeah, I forgot what I was saying on that point, but oh yeah, so Zoe, it wasn't according to our plan. We didn't really want to have a child in our first year of marriage, but yeah, like I mentioned, she's the best thing ever, and even God provided so much for that as well.
He did. I feel like it is hard because I thought like right after the school I was be like preaching and stuff on the stage, and the kid came and it's like, okay, like let's look at my mom's house. Like I can't, right?
No jobs.
Nothing. But it's kind of cool because I feel like I didn't even realize this until like it just hit me now, like the Holy Spirit. But like it actually says you have to learn how to manage your own home before you can manage this church, right? So like looking back at now, it was definitely God's will to learn how to manage a family first. And it's kind of like, yes, I think there's that fear that like you have a kid, it's gonna ruin your life.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do anything you want, and that's how I kind of felt. But if I look back at it now, it actually trained me and taught me a lot of things to make me who I am today.
Right.
So it is a blessing. It's scary, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like, because as a man, of course, like providing for your home and now being in that place of taking yourself back to your parents' house and living, did you ever feel like it was like a punch to your ego, or like, ooh, I'm supposed to be like providing for my wife and doing all these things? Like, have you ever crossed that thought in your mind?
Not really. I'm going to say, that school we went to before, God really, like, he increased my faith in him so much. Like, I never had to worry about money or anything. I kind of took it as...
Sorry, even the school was paid for.
Yeah, so, like, we didn't have money for the school.
We went to South Africa, flight paid for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, we didn't have money for the school, so I think the school was, like, 7 Gs. I think we had about, like, 1,500.
Yeah.
And then, like, so, like, God just said to go, and, like, people would say, oh... Like, he gave us signs, like, I'll pay for it. And it's kind of like, if you serve him, he'll take care of you, right? Because he's responsible for you. He's like a parent. Yeah. So, like, every step, like, every deadline, money just randomly came out of nowhere.
Wow.
And I think, like, so there was a missionary trip to go to South Africa. And I think, so the deadline passed, and they took us off. And then they were like, sorry, like, we have to take you off. Maybe if something happens. I remember I went to the church, I was cheesed. And I was like, I was talking to God, I'm like, how come I can't go? Like, why you send me here? And then I think I went back to, like, the school, and then she comes, oh, Jaelon. Right? So somebody gave us $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, paid for the rest of our school.
And thinking about it now, she asked me how much do I need. I should have said more.
Just about 8,000. The remaining 3 will go towards whatever.
True. But like after that, like I wasn't scared of money because I knew like he had me. So when he moved to my parents' house, my mom's house, and like we had a baby, I literally wasn't scared. And then sometimes those thoughts creep up. Like the devil tries to tell you. Like people ask me what I'm doing. Sometimes like the devil would come and be like, "Oh, I don't want to say this. Like I'm a scrub." But then like I remembered like I don't care what they think, right? Like I know like I'm in alignment. So it kind of didn't faze me.
No, that's good. That's inspiring because most times I think the one thing that obviously hinders people a lot from following God is money. I think it's like it's always like I don't have the money or I need to get money and like how is this gonna happen? And so like imagine if you were just I'm gonna go make money. Like there's a lot of things that would have been stopped, right? And God would have obviously not been pleased with that, and it would have just defaulted you or kind of made you go on a detour, right? And so it's like now you're wasting time that God has not to redeem time, and so
you're obedient.
Yeah, and obedience. I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks. It's like obedience is better than sacrifice. It's like obey Him, and like you said, He will provide everything you need. And so so far He's been providing. So why would you stop obeying? Yeah,
that's true.
You guys' story is literally breaking like all the norms we've been taught through social media, through family and stuff like that. Like people hearing this will probably be like, "What? Like money? I need the money first. Like what? Like I'm gonna trust God. What does trust God look like? If you know." So it's like it's really powerful that you guys are sharing your story and people need it. Like I'm super shocked. That's why I don't really like to, you know, do a Google form, like hear your full story. Yeah. I like to get like a surprise element, like, whoa, this happened? Like that's kind of crazy. So it's really beautiful to hear you guys' story. Like, honestly, I'm in awe, to be honest.
If you want to hear like a crazy testimony, so one time we literally had no money. Like, we had nothing. I think I only had enough money to go to work, right?
Wow.
So I took the bus to work.
Yeah.
And then while I was going to work, God, he showed me look down. And I'm like, okay. I looked, there was nothing there. So then I remember coming back. Like, even so, like I said, like, my faith increased in God. Like you do anything. I just asked the bus driver. I was like, God, I know you can get me on. This is your bus. So I was like, can you get me on the bus? She said, okay, it's fine. She let me on. And then I think when my stop came, I went to get up. And I stepped. And for some reason, I looked down, and there was $20 on the floor.
Wow.
And then, so I took it. I was trying to be like, you could say maybe too righteous. I was asking, like, is there anybody's money?
Are you sure this is not yours?
So then I took it. And then, so I tried to do the same thing with the bus. And the lady was, like, so rude to me. She's like, no, you can't come on. So then another bus came, and I quickly went on. He said, yeah, I could come on. And, like, looking, it was definitely God. So then on that bus, if I took that first bus, because I was planning to go somewhere else, I would have went somewhere else. But this bus forced me to go home. So when I got home and opened the fridge, and then I heard buy groceries. So because we had nothing. So I bought groceries. And then I had like like $25 for like a line of credit. And then he told me to use that to go to work and then church. So it took me to work to go to church. Then I got to church, okay, like everything's, I literally have nothing, like nothing now. And then so one of the guys at the church offered to drive me home. And then I ran into one of, you could say, someone else at the church. And then she said, hey, we want to help you guys out. And then she gave us $1,000.
Wow.
God be just doing miracles.
Wow.
So it's kind of like.
But I also want to state in all of our testimonies that we have with money and just everything is we're not sitting down doing nothing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We're still going
grinding,
out there and grinding and like doing whatever we need to do, like sacrificing to take the bus, like working, like we're out there moving. We're not just sitting at home and expecting the money to fall down in our laps.
That part.
That's a
So,
good point.
Yeah, I wanted to include that.
Faith without works is dead. People think like, God, please give me something, but you ain't moving, you know? So, no, this has been great.
Well, this will be the last question, I would say. But where has God challenged you through your relationship?
Many areas, I feel like. But I think that after having kids, I think really challenged our relationship for me personally, because it's like you already, marriage already exposes like I'm not going to say the bad, but exposes everything, your flaws and everything. And then when you have kids, it just doubles that, like triples that even more. And so I feel like after we had kids, that was like, okay, this is like, especially with the first year of marriage, like you're already kind of in this new thing. And now it's like add a kid on top of that. It's definitely, it pressed us in many different ways. I can't even think of a way right now. Do you have an example?
I guess for me, mostly sacrificing. I like to work. So, say before, I could just go to work, you say, come home, and just work on my stuff.
Right.
And now I come home, and it's like I have to watch kids. At first, I was struggling. Like, I would literally, for example, if I had a book I had to read, I would be like reading my book while I'm with Zoe, and I'd like to give her the phone or something. But just learning to like let go of my stuff and like not be worried about what I have to do, and just kind of like pouring to somebody else. So teaching me how to sacrifice and like in times where I need stuff, thinking about others.
Yeah, I think that's a big one actually that we still are working on is we're both very ambitious people. Like we want our goals. Again, I mentioned purpose driven. Like we want everything, right? And so sometimes we can be so focused on, our goals that lack of intimacy or like even with the kids, like we can look at them as taking away from us. And so just being in the present moment and being intentional about setting time to go on dates and spend time with each other, setting time to have one-on-ones with our kids, and then coming home and then being intentional at spending time with them and not just instantly going on your phone or working towards your goals. Not to say we don't work towards our goals, but it's been a challenge for us to balance the two, because for us it's like one or the other. Right. It's like work towards your goals, and then you forget about the kids, and you forget about your spouse.
Yeah.
So it's really for us like finding that balance. We've been noticing.
That's
definitely we have to work on that.
Yeah.
And then also with parenting, oh my gosh, us having two different parenting styles, where
we're raised different.
Jaelon was raised, yes,
raised different.
We're both raised differently. So then when you come together and you add those two different parenting styles and backgrounds together, it can create a lot of tension, because it's like my way, no, your way, my way, your way, and then the kids see that, oh, parents are not on the same team over here, and so that creates division. And so that's something that we also work. we still haven't perfected it, but we came up with a thing where we would say, like, if we're about to disagree with each other on something, if it's like a disagreement where it's like it's not a healthy one to have in front of the kids, then we thought of a word. I forgot what the word was, but we thought of a word to say. It was just hilarious, because we would like want to argue or whatever, and then we would say the word like push. Randomly be saying push, 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 and Zoe would be like push, 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 copying us. But it was our word to say like stop arguing, like we'll take this one to the side outside of the kids. That little word didn't work.
It didn't work at all. Because for example, like I'll be speaking, she would say push. Okay, we'll go 2 seconds later, she would start saying her piece.
I'm not my turn.
So yeah, I think definitely like even that too, like working on just like healthy conflict and having that in front of the kids, I think especially, and knowing and making sure that we're on the same team, like reminding each other. Sometimes we have to remind each other, because again, it goes back to how ambitious we are. We're like super competitive, and you know, sometimes it almost feels like we're competing against each other, but it's not. We know that we're on the same team, but it can almost feel that way sometimes, where we have to remind each other, like, we're on the same team here. Yeah. Like, it's okay. It's all right. We're on the same team.
That's amazing, guys. You guys
got some good stuff
here.
This is a good episode. Okay, this is a final question. Are
you sure?
No, I promise. Now this is for the audience. So what is one advice a married person gave you during your single days or dating days that shaped you and you would share with others that you could remember, or something that you kind of learned on the way in your journey right now?
You want to go? You want me to go?
You can go first, and then I'll go.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be married. It doesn't have to be married, but it could be somebody who.
I think something I learned, especially during marriage, is kind of maybe not to be broad, but like kind of just my identity. Just know who I am, because I feel like especially in marriage, if you don't know who you are, like anything can kind of anything kind of issue. Like for example, if she says something, I may take it the wrong way based on a lie I may have about myself. Right. But then just knowing like my people help me with my identity, and just like knowing like God, to be honest, help me with my identity and tell me who I am. It's so much easier to, you say, be there for her in the kids and function, and like be like you say, like the leader, the head. Right. As opposed to if I don't have any vision or know who I am and know my purpose, I'm just all over the place. I can't be there for them. Yeah. But knowing who I am and like my purpose, what I'm called to do, I know how to properly lead. So I feel like that helped me a lot.
I think for me, there's a bunch of stuff, but then what's coming to my mind right now is just also like the team thing. Like knowing that, going back to the Bible of how women, we were created to be the man's helpmate. So always reminding myself that as much as I'm still working towards my goals, but also a part of my purpose is to also help Jaelon achieve his purpose and be there. So I think that one of the things that someone told me was plan your life out to serve your husband. And it also goes under submission as well, because as women, we're like naturally don't want to submit. That's every woman. I don't hear what you say. It's every woman. And that's one thing that like we struggle with, but it's a process like to submit to Jaelon. It's definitely still a process. I'm not going to say I'm perfect over here, but that was one thing that she said, like, I'm here to help and be his helpmate, and by helping and serving, you got to submit when you're serving. And I'm not saying like submit and like, you know, he's telling me like you need to sit down and you need to do this and be like very controlling and demanding, but more of like a loving approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to say something.
I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. I feel like most females, because a lot of females are ambitious, right? They have goals and dreams. But I feel like most females feel like if they submit to a man, they have to like give up everything they have.
Yes, and that happens a lot.
But like even like the purpose of like if Ephesians 5:5, you know, like Christ is the head and the man, it's kind of like, so God is kind of like the head, and like so the man is God's helpmate. So if God says I'm submitting myself to help him his will, and in terms of me doing his stuff, he blesses me, takes care of me, gives me desires of my heart. The same thing's supposed to be for like the woman. So she still has her goals and her dreams, but if I say, hey, can you do this for me? I have to like reward her and make sure she, like, do my part to help her fulfill hers as well.
Like we're team.
Yeah, but I feel like most guys don't do that. So like here's why I trust issues with females.
It's like a lot of women feel like even they take that verse out of context and then
Do what I say.
Do what I say. Like they give up their own dreams and their
I'm
goals
supposed to do that.
to serve the man. You know, and we're called. We all have purpose. So.
And your purpose will complement each other. It may not seem like that at the beginning, but once you get to that destination, it will make sense.
And also one thing that worked for us too in the beginning was like write out your goals. If your goals seem to align with each other, then that's also a good sign too, to know, okay, you know, this person is for me. We can work together. Because if his thing was like, I want to live in Africa and be a missionary, like, for the rest of my life, and then I'm like over here, like I'm comfortable, I want to live in Canada, I want to stay here, that may be an indicator.
It's
just not aligned, right?
It's true.
So, yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. You guys just gave us so many great things, to be honest. You guys gave us more than we expected.
Yeah, you guys
not
are
gonna lie.
just doing more than
I'm like, whoa, you guys just brought many people's walls down.
Give me the wheel and we just
right?
drive.
We were like, whoa, this is definitely something we definitely needed. But thank you guys. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you
So much. You don't understand.
It was an honor to be on the show.
Yeah.
It's different being here than seeing it. Seeing it. It's way different.
No, we appreciate it. Well, everyone. Oh, I'm looking at this camera. Everyone, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.
Ask them where can we find them?
Oh my God!
Because they got some
I am so sorry.
They ain't just regular.
I am so. Don't listen to me.
Where can they find you? Whether social media or whatever, plug yourself in there.
Yes, so you could follow me at Abby DeRosa, and you can also follow my fitness page
Yes,
because I am going on a fitness journey.
Yes.
If your mom want to lose weight or just
Oh my
anyone
gosh, can I
who
stop
wants
you?
to. Yes, go ahead.
Yo, you are so transparent on your journey. I'm like, wow. There's one time I was on Instagram and I read sometimes when people post long captions and you don't read it. There's one time I read every word. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Like, I think I commented, but I'm like, whoever is like reading this is like definitely gonna need this. But like the vulnerability you share is definitely your superpower. So I just want to thank you for that because I'm like, wow, this is honestly so amazing that you're sharing this. So go and follow people for real. Go and follow. Yo, sorry, but I just had to get that in there. Boom, right there.
Oh gosh. So renewal.body is my fitness page. You can follow me there.
And mine is The Covenant, but it's 2 E's, so it's kind of like The Covenant because someone stole what I wanted. So.
Oh.
It's gonna be like that.
No, you know what sucks though? It's a movie, so I can't have the handle I want.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well, that is all for us. Officially, we are wrapping it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because I was out here. If I could have my mouth open, I would. But like, oh, this is amazing.
Trust me, I was the one who was like, I don't need to speak. I just need to
Listen. I know. So this is an episode that for sure definitely turn it up in your car, your headphones, wherever you're listening to. Share with someone who will need this, who you feel like would enjoy this episode, because I've learned so much through this episode. So if you haven't, go on YouTube, subscribe, follow us on the Juxtaposition Podcast _. That's our Instagram, Spotify. We're basically almost everywhere. And that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you need to do.
Do your thing.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.